What your birth year's last digit reveals about your life path. Have you ever wondered why the numbers that mark our lives, like our birth date, birth year, or age, hold more meaning than just the passage of time? Imagine the last digit of your birth year as a quiet messenger from the universe, carrying a sacred code, an invitation for you to understand yourself more deeply and the path you are walking. In the ancient teachings of Buddhism combined with sacred numerology, numbers are not just dry symbols. They are living energies, subtle vibrations resonating through the fabric of the universe, whispering truths about the journey of our soul. Your birth year's last digit, though small, and seemingly simple, is like a numerological fingerprint, a unique energy signature marking your reincarnation. It represents your natural tendencies, the strengths you carry, and the challenges you have come to transform. Did you know that according to ancient Buddhist wisdom, numbers are like mantras, sacred sounds chanted to awaken consciousness? Numbers, too, carry subtle frequencies that influence our emotions, behaviors, and spiritual destiny. Over thousands of years, sages and Buddhist meditators have patiently observed patterns of numbers appearing in nature and human life. They discovered that each number vibrates with a distinct energy, shaping karmic imprints and life lessons each of us is meant to experience. So today, I invite you to embark on a reflective journey. One that may forever change how you see that seemingly simple number, the last digit of your birth year. This is not superstition, nor a meaningless numerology game. It's a doorway to self-discovery, a key to recognizing and connecting with your deepest self. If you have ever felt that life is not random, if you believe that everything, even your birth date, carries sacred meaning, then what you are about to explore could be the priceless guide you've been searching for on your path to awakening and living fully. Before we begin, take a moment to like this video, subscribe for more deep insights, and don't forget to leave a comment below. Write this mantra to set your intention with me. I attract prosperity and wisdom. Let this intention open you up to receive the energy of sacred knowledge. And now, let's begin. So now, having opened that door, let's begin our journey to explore the profound meaning of each number, starting with the most special one, number 0. Digit 0, the sacred emptiness, embrace the void to find yourself. You know, 0 gets such a bad rap in our usual thinking. We tend to think of it as nothing. A void. Empty space. Like a blank page that means, well, nothing. But here's a secret from the heart of Buddhist philosophy that flips that idea upside down. 0 isn't nothing. It's everything. It's the infinite womb of creation. The fertile silence before the first note in a song. The vast, open space where all possibilities quietly wait. If your birth year ends with 0, your soul carries this vast energy of potential. I mean, infinite potential. It's like you arrived in this life carrying a cosmic invitation to engage deeply with emptiness itself. And through it, discover who you really are beneath all the noise and distraction. But, oh boy, this path? It's no cakewalk. Imagine life suddenly pulling the rug out from under you. Chaos swirling around like a storm. Loss knocking on your door. You want to scream, to grab onto anything stable. But 0. It whispers softly, surrender. Trust the unknown. Let go. Sounds a bit terrifying, right? It's natural to fight it, to feel that sinking fear of uncertainty. I won't pretend this is easy. But here's the thing, what feels like nothing is actually the fertile soil for rebirth. The space where illusions dissolve, and the true self is waiting to emerge. Let me tell you a story I hold close to my heart, that of Ming, a young Tibetan monk. Life hadn't been kind to him. Family torn apart, house lost, belongings vanished. You'd think this would break him, right? But instead, Ming did something remarkable. He leaned into the void. He embraced the emptiness. And through that, he found a peace so profound it almost glows in the dark. It wasn't because the chaos stopped, it was because his attachment to it fell away. He realized the self he thought he knew was just stories, labels, illusions he'd been carrying around like heavy baggage. Once he set them down, the real him awakened. Ever feel like that? Like you're holding onto an identity that's more like a cage? Maybe you felt that desperate clutch at who you should be, or what you must have, only to find it's exhausting. That's the psychological weight zero challenges you to face. It stirs up anxiety, insecurity, sometimes even despair. But that's the point. It's asking you to see the cage and then choose to step out. Here's a little mindfulness practice for those zero souls out there. When you feel overwhelmed, when the fear of chaos hits hard, pause. Just pause. Take a deep breath. Imagine yourself sinking into a vast, calm emptiness, not as a void of despair, but as a fertile, open space. Close your eyes if you can, picture a night sky stretching forever, thoughts like clouds drifting by, ungrasped. Rest there a moment. No need to do anything. Just be. How does this play out day to day? If 0 is your birth digit, you might have noticed life throwing you through cycles, loss and gain, endings and new beginnings. Maybe a job disappeared unexpectedly, or a relationship shifted. Those moments can feel like a personal earthquake. But if you learn to trust, to embrace that instability, you'll find new ground beneath your feet. Work, relationships, mental health. They're all playgrounds where 0's lessons play out. The key is flexibility, not getting stuck in what was or what should be. It can be scary. But surrender is freedom. And freedom is your birthright. Let's zoom out a bit culturally. 0 is such a fascinating number because its meaning changed so much over history. It wasn't even a number in the early days of math. It came from ancient India and Asia, where it held deep spiritual meaning long before being used as a numeral. In Buddhism, 0 aligns with the concept of sunyata, emptiness. That's not nothingness but the truth that all things are interconnected and impermanent. So if you carry 0 in your birth year, you're literally carrying that ancient, cosmic truth. It's a whisper from the universe telling you, nothing is fixed. All is in flux. And in that flux, there is peace. Quick psychological note. 0's energy often makes people prone to feeling unmoored, or anxious about not being enough or lacking something. It's a real challenge, but also an opportunity. That discomfort nudges you to find the real you, the self that doesn't depend on labels, possessions, or status. Trust me, this is the beginning of true freedom. Digit 1, the path of leadership, lead with compassion, not control. Okay, now on to number 1. The leader, the pioneer. If your birth year ends in 1, you probably know that fiery pull to initiate, to start something new, to take the reins. You might feel it in your bones, that drive, that restless energy pushing you forward. But here's a truth that took me a while to really get: true leadership isn't about being bossy or controlling people. Nope. It's about serving. About being humble. About showing up clearly, not overpowering others with your will. Sounds easy, huh? I'm smiling here. But oh, the trap. The trap of rigidity. The trap of needing to be first, best, or in control. It sneaks in like a shadow, creeping into decisions, conversations, even relationships. Your strength, the real strength of the one, blossoms when leadership becomes a gift. When you lead by lifting others up, not pushing them down. When your example lights the way instead of blinding. Let me tell you about Ananda, one of Buddha's closest disciples. This guy wasn't about shouting orders or dominating the scene. Nope. He led with quiet wisdom, with kindness, with deep presence. His leadership wasn't flashy, but it was magnetic. People followed him because they trusted his heart and his mind. His humility wasn't weakness, it was his power. So, if you're a 1, here's my advice: that drive inside you, it's precious. Don't lose it, but temper it with compassion, with mindfulness, with a little softness, because that's what truly inspires people. Now, the psychological side. People with digit 1 often wrestle with perfectionism, with the pressure to always be on and in control. That can lead to burnout, to loneliness, to frustration when things don't go your way. It's okay to stumble here, to feel overwhelmed, to want to throw your hands up sometimes. The challenge? Learning temperance, knowing when to push, when to pause, when to speak, and when to listen. Try this out. Before your next big decision, pause and ask: am I leading from a place of fear, or from love? Am I trying to control, or am I trying to serve? You might be surprised what shows up. A simple meditation for number 1 folks. Sit quietly. Feel your heartbeat, steady, strong. Imagine your leadership energy as a gentle flame, not a wild blaze. Let it warm you, steady you. Repeat quietly in your mind: may my leadership serve the highest good. May I lead with kindness and humility. Feel that? It's different from the usual hustle. In real life, this can look like choosing projects or roles that allow you to inspire without micromanaging. Cultivating friendships and partnerships based on mutual respect, not power struggles. Balancing ambition with moments of rest and reflection. Cross-cultural fun fact. Across many traditions, 1 means unity, the source of all. In Chinese philosophy, it's the beginning of everything. But Buddhist wisdom adds, no one truly stands alone. Leadership is service in a web of relationships. It's a dance, not a solo act. Digit 2, the dance of duality, balancing compassion with self-care. Did you know that people born in years ending with the number 2 are often natural peacemakers? They're like artists in the dance of duality, always longing for harmony in every relationship, always wanting to heal wounds, whether those wounds belong to themselves or to others. Sounds pretty wonderful, right? But, to maintain that balance, sometimes you have to pay quite a price. Imagine you're someone who gives your whole heart to others, but one day, you realize you've forgotten to take care of yourself. You get so caught up in other people's needs, emotions, and worries that you become hazy, lost. Have you ever felt like you're walking a tightrope, trying to keep everyone else balanced while your own feet wobble beneath you? That is one of the biggest challenges for number 2. In Buddhist philosophy, true compassion is not about sacrificing yourself until you're empty, it's about learning to fill yourself before giving. You can't pour water from an empty cup. The very first bridge you need to build is the one connecting you to your own heart, where you learn to listen to, and respect your own feelings. Let me tell you the story of Lily, a caregiver in a bustling city. For many years, she believed that self-sacrifice was the hallmark of true love. But during a meditation retreat, she had a powerful realization. To truly care for others, she first had to honor her own limits and feelings. When she began to respect herself, her compassion transformed from a duty to a steady, life-giving source. Can you see yourself in that story? Have you ever felt overwhelmed, as if drowning in unnamed responsibilities? That's the constant inner battle for those with the number 2, one side the craving for harmony, the other the fear of losing oneself. Here's a mindfulness tip just for you. When you feel like you're giving too much, pause. Take a deep breath. Place your hand over your heart and gently ask, am I truly listening to myself right now? Am I giving from fullness or from emptiness? Don't be afraid to say no. Protecting your energy and well-being is the highest form of compassion. What does this look like in everyday life? You might find yourself often yielding in relationships, avoiding conflicts even when hurt. At work, you may take on too much out of fear of disappointing others. But sometimes, stepping back and taking a breath is the kindest act you can do. A cultural perspective. In Chinese philosophy, the number 2 represents duality, yin and yang, a dance of opposing parts. Buddhism embraces this too, reminding us that harmony doesn't mean erasing differences, but embracing them with wisdom and love. A simple meditation for number 2. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and imagine 2 gentle waves rising and falling in harmony. Breathe with the rhythm of the waves. Silently repeat. May I give without losing myself. May compassion begin from within. Digit 3, creative expression, channel your gifts mindfully. Number 3 is the explosion of creative energy. If your birth year ends with this number, congratulations. You carry a brilliant flame inside. Maybe you write, paint, sing, or just have a mind bursting with ideas. Your energy draws people in with its vibrancy and passion. But, here's the real talk, sometimes that energy scatters easily. Have you ever dived into 10 projects at once and felt overwhelmed because you couldn't finish any? Or felt frustrated when inspiration suddenly vanished? That's the challenge of number 3. Buddhism invites you to ground your creativity with mindfulness and discipline. Think of your art, your voice, or any expression as a form of meditation, a sacred bridge connecting your soul to the world, not just a performance. I remember the story of Jiro, a Japanese calligrapher. Before every brush stroke, he would sit in deep meditation, fully present in the moment. Each move was intentional and alive. His works were not only beautiful characters but dances of spirit and breath. Creativity without focus can lead to burnout. It's like running a marathon but sprinting all out from the start, exhilarating, yet exhausting. When your mind bounces from one idea to the next, it's easy to lose touch with the present moment. Mindfulness exercise for number 3. Focus on your breath. When ideas rush in, gently bring your attention back to your inhale and exhale. Try this. Inhale slowly for 4 counts. Hold your breath for 2 counts. Exhale for 6 counts. Repeat this cycle 3 times before starting your creative work. Just this simple ritual can help you channel your radiant energy into something meaningful. Practical applications. People with number 3 need creative outlets to express themselves, but discipline keeps their dreams alive. You might enjoy workshops, daily journaling, or setting small, achievable goals to keep your artistic flame burning bright without burning out. Cultural note. In Western numerology, 3 symbolizes communication and joy. In Buddhism, it is also connected to the 3 jewels, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, reminding us that creativity can be an expression of spiritual refuge and community. Digit 4, structure and stability, letting go of rigidity. Number 4, the cornerstone. If you were born in a year ending with 4, you likely crave stability. You're practical, reliable, and you want things just so. Predictability brings you comfort. Routine is your friend. But here's where the spiritual challenge comes in. Sometimes your need for order becomes a cage. Have you ever felt stuck in a pattern? Like you're clinging to an old habit that no longer fits? That's the dilemma of number 4. Buddhism teaches us about impermanence. Even the structures we cherish are temporary. I want to tell you about Asha, a meticulous accountant. Change? No thanks. But life threw her a curveball. After a stressful event, she attended a meditation retreat. At first, she struggled with uncertainty and panic. But gradually, through meditation, she learned to go with the flow of life instead of resisting it. The rigid formulas in her mind gave way to calm acceptance. Psychologically, 4s often wrestle with control and perfectionism. You want safety, but ironically, gripping too tightly causes more suffering. This may show as stress, anxiety, or frustration when things don't go your way. Meditation tip for number 4. Sit quietly. Imagine yourself as a sturdy tree bending with the wind but not breaking. Let go of the need to have every answer or outcome perfect. Repeat silently. Impermanence is my ally. I welcome change as part of life's rhythm. In daily life, 4s do well in environments where they can build and maintain structure but need to practice flexibility. Try shifting routines gradually or exploring new habits. Professionally, you might excel in roles requiring reliability. But try to stay open to innovation. Cultural insight. Number 4 is significant in Buddhism. Think of the Four Noble Truths, the foundation of the path. Yet Buddhism reminds us that even attachment to these truths must be loosened to avoid dogmatism. True stability is internal, not external. Digit 5, freedom and exploration, finding meaning beyond wandering. So, your birth year ends with the number 5. Brace yourself. Your soul is like a restless traveler, always yearning for freedom and adventure. You crave movement, change, new experiences, open roads, new faces, fresh ideas. Your heart seems to beat to the rhythm of the unknown. Sounds exciting, right? But honestly, life can get pretty chaotic sometimes. Buddhist wisdom gently reminds us that freedom isn't about running away. It's not about avoiding the things that make us uneasy, or dodging pain. No, true freedom is about letting go of attachments to places, people, and even the restlessness within ourselves. Imagine Raj, a guy who left a stable office job to roam the world in search of freedom. At first, it was thrilling: beaches, mountains, new cities. But after a while, Raj realized those journeys didn't fill his soul. That wandering couldn't fill the emptiness inside. Only when Raj began traveling with purpose, using his trips for inner growth, did he truly find the deep freedom he'd been chasing. Does that sound familiar? How many times have you wanted to get far away, only to return and find everything unchanged? That's the challenge of number 5. The secret isn't where you go, but how you go. Are you standing firmly in the present, or drifting on a vast sea of distractions? Psychological aspect. People with the number 5 often brim with energy, sometimes so much that their mind and body feel unstable, like a boat in stormy seas. This restlessness can lead to anxiety, impulsiveness, and loss of peace. But here's the bright side: that restlessness is an invitation to cultivate equanimity, a steady calm amidst the waves. You don't have to stop moving, but you can learn to move with grace. Mindfulness practice for number 5. If your birth year ends with 5, right now, pause. Take a deep breath. Imagine roots growing from your feet deep into the earth, grounding you. Then picture your spirit as a bird, freely soaring high in the sky. You can be both grounded and free. Try this. Sit quietly and breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 3 seconds. Exhale slowly for 6 seconds. Repeat 5 times. Let this be your anchor before any big trip or important decision. In daily life, number 5 people often jump from one passion to another, fearing being tied down. Work might feel limiting, relationships might be overwhelming. But when you learn to anchor your freedom to something meaningful, an ideal, a purpose, or even just the present moment, your wandering becomes a dance, not a frantic escape. Cultural perspective. In many cultures, the number 5 symbolizes change and the senses, gateways to fully experiencing life. In Buddhism, it relates to the 5 aggregates that form human experience, reminding us that clinging to any part of ourselves or our journey creates suffering. Digit 6, love and compassion, nourish yourself to nourish others. If your birth year ends with 6, you're likely a caring soul. Empathy flows naturally through you, you find joy in caring for others. But importantly, just like the Bodhisattvas who rested beneath the Bodhi tree, self-compassion is essential. You can't pour love from an empty cup. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's sacred. Let me share Maria's story. She's a nurse, always giving, always there for others. But burnout came fast and hard. During a period of rest and reflection, Maria realized that to love wisely, she first had to love herself. By honoring her own needs and limits, her compassion grew deeper instead of fading. Sound familiar? Sometimes the hardest love to give is the one to ourselves. Compassion without boundaries leads to exhaustion, resentment, even disconnection. Psychological insight. People with number 6 often struggle with guilt when putting themselves first. They may feel selfish or undeserving of care. But the truth is, nurturing yourself restores your energy, and allows you to be fully present for others. Mindfulness tip for number 6. Create a daily ritual of self-care. It can be as simple as mindful breathing, gentle movement, for a few minutes, or softly telling yourself, "May I be kind to myself. May my love flow freely and wisely." Practical application. In relationships, number 6 people are often the caregivers, partners, parents, friends who give a lot. But it's important to check in with yourself. Are you setting healthy boundaries? Are you replenishing your energy? At work, you may thrive in supportive or healing roles, but balance is key to prevent burnout. Cross-cultural view. In many traditions, 6 symbolizes harmony and home. Buddhism reminds us compassion includes wisdom, knowing when to give and when to protect. The Bodhisattva ideal is love balanced with discernment. Digit 7, the seeker within, integrating wisdom into life. Number 7 is the mystic and the seeker. If your birth year ends with 7, your soul is drawn inward, to meditation, philosophy, dreams, and spiritual depth. You often prefer quiet solitude over noise and crowds. But here's the catch, isolation can become a trap. Buddhism calls you to connect your inner wisdom with compassionate action, gently but surely shining your light in the world. Let me tell you about Tenzin. He spent many years in solitary retreat, deeply immersed in meditation and study. Eventually, he felt the call to share that wisdom actively within his community. Instead of retreating further into silence, he chose to be a beacon, lighting the way for others with kindness and presence. Does that resonate? Have you felt torn between retreating inward and engaging outward? Psychological note. People with number May 7 struggle with loneliness or detachment. They can get caught up in intellectualizing their experiences or avoiding emotional engagement. The challenge is to find balance, not just knowledge, but embodied wisdom. Meditation for number 7. Try loving kindness meditation. Sit quietly and silently repeat, "May I be peaceful. May I be kind. May I be connected." Then send these wishes to your loved ones and the wider community. Life application. Number 7 souls thrive in contemplative practices but also benefit from community involvement, teaching, or service. Your deep insights can heal and inspire, but only when shared. Cultural reflection. 7 is often considered a sacred number in many traditions, a symbol of completeness and spiritual awakening. In Buddhism, the balance of study, meditation, and compassionate action is key to walking the path fully. Digit 8, manifestation and prosperity, balancing giving and receiving. So, your birth year ends with an 8? Wow, you've got the power to turn dreams into reality. You're wired to manifest success, to build and grow, to leave your mark. And this is a big but, clinging too tightly to outcomes can become a serious trap. Buddhism invites us to act with right intention, to harmonize ambition with Dharma, effort with surrender. It's not just about hustling for gains but aligning your drive with meaning beyond material rewards. Let me tell you about Chen, a businesswoman who transformed her motivation by weaving mindfulness into her daily life. She found a sense of fulfillment that surpassed profits and balances. For Chen, Prosperity grew when her work became an expression of service, not just achievement. Ever felt that rush to push harder, only to realize it leaves you feeling empty inside? That's the challenge for number 8. True abundance includes spiritual wealth, not just bank accounts. Psychological layers of 8. 8s often carry the weight of responsibility and the pressure to succeed. This can lead to stress, perfectionism, or fear of failure. The attachment to results often blinds you to the joy of the journey. But here's a secret: letting go of attachment doesn't mean giving up. It means dancing with effort and ease, knowing when to push and when to release. Mindfulness practice for number 8. Pause in your busy day. Close your eyes and feel your breath. Imagine a golden light radiating from your heart, filling your whole body with warmth and calm. Repeat quietly. May my actions be guided by wisdom. May I balance effort with surrender. In daily life, number 8 folks might find themselves juggling multiple roles: entrepreneur, leader, caretaker. The trick is learning to receive as graciously as you give. When you open to receiving support, rest, joy, you replenish your power and sustain your success. Cultural insight. In many cultures, 8 is a symbol of prosperity and infinity, endless cycles of growth and renewal. In Buddhism, it relates to the Noble Eightfold Path, a roadmap balancing right view, right effort, and right mindfulness to manifest true liberation. Digit 9, completion and universal love, serving without losing yourself. Number 9 is the wise humanitarian, the one with a heart big enough to hold the world. If your birth year ends in 9, you're wired to serve, to uplift, and to inspire change. But beware, the self-sacrifice trap is real. Buddhism teaches that enlightenment means supporting the world while protecting your own freedom and light. You can't pour from an empty cup. Meet Nalini. She devoted her life to charity work, pouring love and energy into helping others. But eventually, exhaustion caught up with her. She learned to set boundaries and protect her own inner flame, so she could continue shining brightly for the long haul. Sound familiar? Sometimes, loving others means loving yourself fiercely first. Compassion without limits can burn you out. Psychological dimensions of 9. 9s often wrestle with guilt about self-care, fearing they're being selfish if they pause. They may overextend themselves, losing touch with their own needs. The challenge? To embrace healthy boundaries, love that includes space and self-respect. Mindfulness tip for number 9. Practice loving-kindness meditation daily. Sit quietly and repeat. May I be peaceful. May I be kind. May I be whole. Send this goodwill outward, to loved ones, your community, and the world. Practical application. Number 9 souls thrive in roles that serve and uplift: activists, healers, teachers. But balance is essential to avoid burnout. Nourish yourself, recharge, and keep your light bright. Cultural reflection. 9 is often seen as a sacred number, symbolizing completion and compassion in many traditions. In Buddhism, the Bodhisattva ideal embodies universal love combined with wise discernment, serving fully without losing oneself. Overall, understanding the last digit of your birth year is just the beginning. True awakening and transformation is a whole journey. And Buddhism encourages us to dive deeper into practice to make that experience vivid and tangible in daily life. You can start with very simple steps, like writing a daily journal to note your patterns, strengths, and challenges related to your number. But remember, don't judge or label yourself, observe with a warm heart and gentle kindness toward yourself. Or, you might choose a mantra or a reminder based on the energy of your number as the focal point of your daily meditation. Breathe softly, feel that energy flowing through your body, becoming a source of motivation and peace that nourishes your soul. Also, whenever you face choices, try letting your number guide you, helping you balance personal desires with your Dharma path, the one truly aligned with who you are, leading you to a more meaningful life. And don't keep these insights to yourself. Share, discuss, and learn with others. This sharing not only deepens your own understanding but also builds a connected, awakened, and strong community. Let's look at Sarah, a woman born in 1987, carrying the number 7. There were times she felt isolated on her spiritual journey, retreating inward into silence and deep reflection. But then she began practicing meditation with the energy of number 7, and actively joined volunteer work in her community. Guess what happened? The combination of deep inner contemplation and active engagement opened her up to a fuller experience. A richer connection with the world around her, her life became more complete and meaningful. Sarah shows us that numbers aren't just cold figures on paper. When you live in alignment with them, they become a compass guiding you step by step toward true fulfillment and meaning in life. Finally, dear friend, if you've watched this far, remember that your birth year's last digit is not a cage locking you into rigid patterns. It's a sacred compass, subtle but profound, leading you deep within, into your own karmic journey. It's the universe whispering to you, inviting you to question, answer, grow, and live mindfully in your own rhythm, in harmony with the vast cosmos. As the Buddha said, all conditioned things are impermanent. Seeing this clearly with wisdom, one is freed from suffering. Your number is quietly calling you to realize this truth. To awaken along your unique Dharma path, the one and only meant just for you. If you found this sharing meaningful, I'd be so grateful if you could help the video by liking, sharing, and leaving a comment below with, "I am ready to receive all the luck and blessings coming my way." Just a few small actions, but they're a huge source of energy that helps this video reach more people on YouTube. So we can spread this positive inspiration and awakening journey together. I truly look forward to walking alongside you in the next steps of your path to discovering and nurturing yourself through your number. Thank you so much for listening.